Well, what is there to say? Of course, the reason I didn't do the radio yesterday, because the radio was not frickin' important. What was important were the fact that I had a number of friends, good friends, very good friends, longtime friends, who live in right there, right in the area where it hit in Florida. And so my day was trying to do my day, but obviously thinking and praying, and what else can you do but wish them the best? And then, of course, now this morning, as I'm putting this together on Thursday, I'm just wondering how they did, how they came out. So right in the middle of our discussion about, these are the days of awe, we have to do some thinking about something that was awesome in its awesomeness. And perhaps if there's some lessons and thoughts that we can do and get from that, and see if we can share them with others in a way that is responsible, respectable, and hopefully helpful. I'm Stan Houston. These are interesting ideas for Thursday, and that program begins right now. Yes, I have two very good, long-time friends. One of them just recently moved to Naples, Florida. And shortly after he moved to Naples, Florida, discovered that he had some very, very serious cancer and has gone through an incredible procedure at MD Anderson, the cancer hospital in Houston, and had just returned and was hopefully getting ready to enjoy his new home in Naples and perhaps better recover from that quite awesome surgery. Another friend had just recently retired and left, as I say, good friend in Minnesota, and had retired and bought a home in Fort Myers. And of course, I was concerned for him too. We exchanged a few text messages as the storm was approaching, thoughts and prayers, and we kind of committed it to God and said, okay, we're in the midst of the storm, and we're promised that we will be protected in the midst of the storm, and so we'll go for it. Well, as of right now, I have not been able to hear from them, and of course I'm making a point of not trying to reach out to them in any way, disturb them in the work they might be about. But I'm hoping right now as I talk to you that I'll be able to hear from them soon. And I hope that if you have family and friends, and of course something like this really affects almost everybody, obviously in just the sight of the damage and the destruction, and in cases that we are going to hear more of, the despair of those who have lost not only their property, but in many cases they've lost family members and other lost lives as a result of this. Of course, this is an interesting time also because, as we say, the days of awe is the start of the Jewish New Year, and for people like me who have decided that our New Year's also begin at this time of the year as a good time, and there are good things about that which I'll talk about that might be very, very usual and unusual. Isn't it ironic that in the dying days of all of the trees here in North Carolina, now the trees don't necessarily die, but their leaves do. And when are they the most colorful? When are they the most beautiful? Just before they die and fall. Maybe there's a little bit of a lesson there that nature and nature's God is trying to teach us. But the interesting thing, as one of my good friends told me at one time, and he was a Jewish man who, of course, as he says, I celebrate the holidays, but, I really don't take it very seriously. Yeah, I believe, but, I got life to do. He then said to me that one of the things that was unique, though, about the days of awe, he said, because I did take that a little more seriously, and so at least for those times, I oftentimes at least thought about God a little more often than I usually do. And he said, I guess that's good for me. That's good for me. But that was as far as it went. But good for him. The point is that at these times we are also going to wonder, what in the world is God up to? This is one of those why God moments. Why God moments. Why God this? Why God now? Why God me? And part of the days of awe, at least in its tradition, is that we would be able to deal not only with the awesome, not only the awesome that is good, but of the awesome that may not be good at all. And learning how that in time, if we do the things that are important right, in the end, all will be well. In the end, all will be well. Well, those are my thoughts on the days of awe and the awesome thing that has happened. And perhaps all of us can learn a brief lesson from what we see. Hopefully it moves us to charity, to compassion. In fact, as I would say from my previous lesson, in this awesome disaster, some of us might discover a way to be just a little bit more human, less divisive, less angry, and perhaps more grateful for the good things that we have and perhaps for the things that we have escaped. I think about where I'm at, and the reports are that because of the hurricane, well, we might get a little bit more rain and a little bit more wind, but that's the extent of it. But at the same time, I'm going to be thinking about those who didn't get a little bit more rain and a little bit more wind. They got what they got, and for them, many thoughts and many prayers. I'm Stan Houston, just some interesting ideas. Give me a few minutes, and I'll be back. As I said, we're going to go short today, but that's okay. Of course it's okay. As I oftentimes say, the problem in real radio was when you had nothing to say, you had to say something anyway. And every person in radio knows something about that. But here, you don't have to fill the half hour or the hour or the 3 hours. You can sometimes do what I did one time. And maybe this is a good idea. I actually said to the audience, and this was a 2.5-hour radio program late at night, and I had just had a rough time, very rough time. And so I even began the program after a little introductory music, and I said, I have nothing to say tonight, nothing that you need to hear from me tonight. So I've taken some of my favorite music, and with your permission, I'm just going to play some of my favorite music and maybe even fall asleep. I hope you don't mind. I'll be back tomorrow. Well, I don't think I'm going to have to do that here, but that's one of the old-time radio stories. Now, one of the things I do ask you to think about at this time, in, quote, the days of awe. How can I, just ask yourself the question now, how can I take time in these messy times to see if there's some particular project in life that I am going to, we got through these COVID years. We got through this stuff. Is there a project in my life? Something that I've been saying yes to for years, but I never have gotten around to it. Something that I thought I should do. Something that I thought I should become. I got a note from a lady who just simply said this: all of this has reminded me the time has come, the time is now. The time has come, the time is now. And of course, she knew that I had said that before as kind of a jest about that old-fashioned Dr. Seuss book. You know, Marvin K. Mooney, will you please go now? Dr. Seuss. The time has come, the time is now. Marvin K. Mooney, will you please go now? Now, can I just simply ask, is there something in your life? We are now learning almost every day, if we're aware, that we are mortal. We are not forever. The fact that nothing that we thought was important is permanent. That there is very little that has any permanence or real value. So we better figure out what might be permanent and what has real value. So can I just ask you to do with me what I have started to do, and it became very clear about one or two things. The time has come, the time is now for me to do. And I'll leave the blank unfilled in for me right now. But right now, could I challenge you to fill in that blank? That's right. Fill in the blank. As someone said, when they bury you, there'll be one date and a second date, and you were the dash between the dates. Well, what do you want to do in your dash? Is it time to do the dash? Best and blessings. I'll be right back. Again, thank you for your time. One of the things I do want to ask is that in terms of some of the business coaching that we can do, what is true, and this is true for me, and it's been true for most people that I know of, is that we all do better when we have a guide or a coach in our life. And I have them. I consult with them all the times, and I also have the privilege of being one. So if there's some way that I, in my long years of scars and stars, more scars than stars for sure, could be helpful and useful to you in your life, and particularly in your business. If you finally want to do what lots of people would love to do, it's time for me to get on the radio, to actually share my wisdom, my stories with other people. It's time for me to do that. I can certainly help you do that. Again, reach out to me at stanhusted@gmail.com, stanhusted@gmail.com. Check out our story stage at witradio.net, WIT radio.net. Dear Lord, be with the people who are struggling through the mess. Bless them and keep them and restore them to full life once more. Bye for now.